So we're waiting in line to get hands-on with Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle when we look over and see an Ubisoft person holding the hand cannon that Miyamoto was holding on stage. We asked, can we take a picture with it? They said, yes, of course. We grabbed it. We placed it on our hand. We felt the power. It was heavy. Then the creative director, Davide, came and took a picture with us. And we said, oh, thank you very much. And they said, did you know that that is the exact same cannon that Miyamoto touched and held on stage? So never wash your hands again. And to this day, we have not yet washed your hands because it's only been like an hour and a half. What's up, everybody? It's Jake and Gabe from Switchforce, and we just got back from playing Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle hands-on for the first time ever, and we are here to give you a little discussion on our first take of the game. So me and Gabe actually got to play two different demos. I got to play a demo that is going to be on the show floor, and Gabe got to play a demo that is going to be behind closed doors on the show floor. So we each have a little bit of a different perspective, but I think the beginning of our demos was pretty much the same. We got through. I got through three different battles. A very easy one, an intermediate one, and then one that was a little bit different, where the goal was actually to get through the battlefield as opposed to defeat all the enemies. And then we did some overworld stuff, a little bit of collect the 8 coins to unlock a new item. So we got to see how the unlocking a new item worked, and some overworld running around and interacting. My first thing I want to point out, though, is that they changed the name. It's not tutorial for the disc. It's Beepo.
I like the name tutorial so much better.
It's just like a more complex name that rolls off the tongue. Now it's just Beepo.
Yeah, Beepo.
All right, so Gabe, what is your impressions? You can go first.
I liked it quite a bit. I have the same issue that you and Zach both had. It was easy, but we did play the beginning of the game. We played like a tutorial section, and then we played a couple of battles after. So, I assume it's going to get more difficult as it goes, but I liked it. I had a decently fun time with it. Again, just a little bit too easy. Those are my very quick first impressions. It plays very well. The actual combat mechanics and the strategy of it all. I think that the systems in place are all like pretty solid. I don't mind the rabbits. Like I saw some of the jokes as you're like making your way through the level. Like you can like press A and like a rabbit in the environment would do like a funny little quip or something like that. I didn't mind it at all. I didn't think it was like as childish as I thought it was. The combat is, and I hate to use this word, but it's like it's sophisticated enough. Like. Yeah. But again, pretty easy. So, but I am gonna chalk that up to it being like a demo at E3 and it being like the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I was shocked at how easy it was, but there was a lot of mobility and different things you could do and work together with your team. So there is the opportunity there, like you were saying, to have very complex battles and very more strategic things. They even have like a pre-battle like strategic mapping that you can do and like switch out your loadout and stuff. And see all your character stats. So there's a lot of, like you're saying, like foundations where they could go very complex, but this was like almost impossible to lose in the beginning.
Well, not according to Zach. Zach said that some people in his session were having a hard time. So I mean, I maybe we're a little bit like more experienced with.
We're pros.
Yeah, maybe we're just gonna be like MLG, Mario plus Rabbids players or something. That's obviously not a thing, but. Yeah, Zach said that some people were having a harder time. None of the three of us had a hard time. We all played similar demos. Again, Zach and I played a behind closed doors one. Jake was able to play the more public one. But, stylistically, I liked it. I already liked it from the trailers, though. Mm-hmm. So maybe you don't find the Rabbids as charming as or maybe you're not as forgiving about the Rabbids as I am. Like, how did you feel about it? Like, was there like quips? Like, was it annoying to you at all?
No, I think it kind of fits in decently well. It kind of almost feels like a ride. Like at the beginning, you see like these like Goombas are like stuck to honey and like getting shot out by like water sprouts, and it reminds me of the laughing place in the Splash Mountain ride at Disney World or Land, if anybody knows that section. But it almost feels like an amusement park type ride where like you said, like you can stop and like witness the Rabbids in the environment doing silly things. And I thought the overworld movement seemed to flow really well. Like you're moving pretty quickly. Like I felt like, and it was very smooth movement. And that's like where you collect your coins that you can then upgrade weapons and things. And I thought it was interesting how there's not like a separate, like you like run into a rabbit and then like it like cuts to a battle. The battles are like
It's designated.
Yeah, it's almost like a maze. Like you get to the end of the maze, and then there's a battle, and then you go through like a pipe or something or a bridge, and then you go to another overworld section, and then there's another battle, which I thought was very interesting. Like I said, that my final battle was one where you had to get to the other side of the stage, which I thought was really weird. It was almost easier than any other battle, because you didn't have to really fight any enemies. You just
you only had to get one character.
Yeah, you only had to get one party member, and we found out that your parties are always going to be consisting of 3 characters. It has to be Mario as your leader. You have to have one Rabbid, and then you can have the third slot be anybody.
Yeah, the flexibility of the party construction comes with the third slot. It's a little weird that Mario always has to be in the party. Like, that's not something that I expected, but, I guess it kind of makes sense. Mario is the star of the show. He is the hero of the story.
I wonder with his skill set if it lends to better balancing of gameplay to have his like techniques later on in the mix always. Or maybe Ubisoft just wanted to make sure that Mario was the focal point always, and they didn't want to upset Mr. Miyamoto by having you just have 3 rabbits on the screen at a time. But the movement and mobility of the game I thought was really interesting, because like I thought it was gonna be much like slower pace and more like tactical, like we go from one cover to the next cover. But between your basic movement, your team jumps, your being able to use a melee and then move after the melee attack and still shoot back like at the enemy. Like you can do where you could like go do a melee attack to someone behind cover, then run back like 2 covers away, then shoot them again, then use your technique.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many possibilities. And like for the one where I had to get to the other end of the stage, I did it in like 3 turns.
Yeah. To be clear, the melee attack, I think what you're talking about there is like when you're like sliding.
Yeah. The guy, my dev guy called it a melee.
Yeah. That is what they called it, but it is an attack that happens like when you're in motion only.
Right.
So if you're trying to get to another place in cover that like an enemy just happens to be in the way, you do this like slide where that damages them, and then you can still do like your regular like gun blast attack after. So what I saw you play that. And you said, man, that was really easy. I put a handicap on myself. I said, okay, I won't do those like melee attacks, because I don't want to experience this like super easy thing. And I was only using like the gun attacks, and it was a little harder. But I never died. I was never in any real danger. But I want to talk a little bit about the difference in the demo that we played. I played this boss fight with the Rabid Piranha Plant.
Yeah. So Rabid Plant.
Yeah, Rabid Plant. Yes. That thing like had like elemental damage. It shot like fire and stuff, and that burned you. And Mario got hit, and he like ran around, and it randomly placed you like in the middle of the map. Like it takes you out of cover. Beyond that, like there was verticality to that boss fight. If you go into one of the pipes, you go to an upper level, and there are enemies up there, but there are also these like crates that have like this like yellow symbol on it, and if you hit
explosive cover.
Yeah. Well, there was the explosives, and then there was a yellow one as well, because the explosives were the red ones, and you shoot those and they just blow up. The yellow ones, I didn't get to see exactly what they did, but I'm sure if you shot those, they did something other than blow up.
Maybe like the red ones do incendiary like burn damage, and the yellow ones do like push damage, because the push symbol is yellow.
Yeah.
So it could be like each one does a different type of damage.
Yeah, but the other thing, I got to do a puzzle that I don't think you did.
Okay.
So when I was on the way to the boss fight, there was like this area that had these like little button switches that you press, and it moved like this platform. And it had 3 different platforms, and on one of them it led to this like weird like blue thing with like a bunch of coins there as well. I didn't even get to like mess with the puzzle too much. I'm sure I could have figured it out like if I really tried to, but I just really wanted to get through with the demo, because we were like on limited time. So you didn't get to see one at all, right? Like
I watched through the window of your guys' demo, and it looked like it was like moving bridges around. And in the gameplay demo that they showed at the Ubisoft event or presentation, they showed one where you have to like move different pieces of a Rabid pipe in order to like get through. So they are implementing some overworld puzzle mechanics. They're probably not super complex or super difficult, but it is something to like mix up in between combat.
Yeah. And since I did mention that I did the piranha section, you got to do the chain chomp section.
Yeah, that was it. So the chain chomp was in the get to the other side of the map battle. And again, this is something that makes me hopeful that they can make much more complex, much longer, much more difficult battles, because they do have things like you're saying, the verticality. I had verticality in mind, where you have multiple levels, and like the people who are high can always shoot down even when
if you're in cover.
Yeah, so like that adds like another gameplay element, like strategizing how to get people high and stuff like that. and then I had a Chain Chomp in the middle of my map, and the Chain Chomp had his own turn, and he would attack whoever was closest. So you could like use like push damage or incendiary damage, or like there's these big the Rabbids with the big bricks on their back. If you attack them, they kind of like charge at you before their turn even starts. So you could like attack them to like lure them in front of the Chain Chomp. So there's a lot of mechanics in there. And then you use the techniques of like Mario being able to shoot whenever a Rabbid moves on their turn
and exposes themselves.
Yeah, or like Peach Rabbid can heal, or Luigi Rabbid can avoid all special abilities. Yeah, so we didn't even get to use those very much in the demo. They allowed you to, at least in my final battle, but like I didn't really need to because it was so easy. But like with the Chain Chomp environmental, with being able to like do the verticality, being able to lure guys in front of the Chain Chomp, all the techniques, and having eventually a secondary weapon and a secondary technique, like it has to get more complex, right? It has to get more difficult.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want to get into, because they did say in the behind the scenes that they wanted to make this experience a long-term experience that you can play in 10 to 15 minute chunks and like pause battles and things like that. So that makes me hopeful that later on they are going to have battles that like are going to take more time than just 3 turns.
How'd you feel about the destructible cover? Like it was once or twice, like I felt like you destroy the cover and I thought it was like fully destroyed, but then like I attacked again because I thought the cover was just gone, but it still had like another layer of cover. Okay. And like I thought I was gonna hit the Rabbid like right away, and that didn't do any damage to it. So it's just a little surprising, but I found it like much better to just like go to like the side.
Right.
Yeah.
You have so much mobility that you could just basically get anywhere you wanted to.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I like. You don't have to position yourself. You kind of just be like, all right, I'm just going to run, charge forward, and hit them, and then, not worry about having any repercussion. And maybe you do have less health, because like you could kill the Rabbids in like 2 hits. So maybe you start off like that as well in the real game. I don't know.
The other thing I wondered, at the end of every like fight and the demo, like we got our full health back. I wondered like if in the full game you don't, and you have to like do like potions and stuff. Like, I mean, we don't know. That this is just speculation at this point, but just some things that would make it more difficult going forward.
Right.
Like instead of like just full recovering your health right after every battle, if you go into the next battle already, like
maybe. And we didn't get to see how the orbs worked at all. Like, we didn't collect any orbs.
Yeah, no.
We did see the one weapon unlock. So when you unlock a weapon, like for us, it was you had to collect these 8 red coins in this maze, and then it lets you gain access to this box. And you open the box, you get a weapon, but you still have to purchase the weapon with your coins.
Yeah.
But there seems to be a plethora of coins around the overworld. But that's the only time the menu popped up for the like customization. I'm assuming you can pull that menu up at any time you want.
Yeah, you can.
Between battles. Okay. To customize your weapons there. And like I said, we didn't get to see the orbs for the skill tree. But then at the end, I was surprised that they showed Bowser Jr. is in the game.
Yeah, he has this weird little maniacal laugh.
Yeah, so that again, Zach was talking about this, and I was kind of skeptical of it, but there will be more cameos of more Mushroom Kingdom heroes. And our favorite character, Gabe's favorite hero, Gabe's hero, Toad, made a brief appearance in the demo.
Toad was in the demo, yeah. I almost threw the Switch across the table.
So there will be more Mushroom Kingdom characters in the game, which has me excited because we have seen the Rabbid plant, we have seen a DK Rabbid, so there's got to be more crossovers there as well.
Yeah.
So the complexity and the more character variety, I hope, gets bigger and better, and I really think it will. Any final thoughts, Gabe?
Let's Play. Zach is currently working on a Let's Play. That's why he's not here.
Yep.
And in that, you get to see everything we're talking about here, plus get a little sense of the story with whatever, like, small... Beepo and whatever little dialogue is there. So definitely check that video out as well. And stay tuned for a bunch more E3 coverage from us. We're here in LA all week. Tomorrow is the big spotlight day. Tomorrow for us, by the time we're seeing this, it already happened. And hopefully we already have Metroid. No, but I like it. I'm excited for it. It's not that far away, which is great.
Yeah, it's very, very soon. 2 months.
Yeah.
That's all you have to wait. Make sure to subscribe to Switch Force for all things Switch and Nintendo related, especially since E3 is going to be crazy. Hit that notification bell to stay up to date and get every notification when we post a new E3 video. But until next time, Switch Force out.